Previously on Test C Teams.
Just before you nudge it, you can see inside the bottle is the outline of what looks like a tiny ship, as though someone has built it inside of the bottle.
I grab this bottle.
In a moment, all three of you find yourselves aboard the deck of a ship.
Shit.
The salty wind blows through your tresses or your fur or your feathers, depending.
Okay, now the ghost is talking to me, and then I look up and I go, oh, spirit, restless spirit, please haunt us no more.
And all three of you now hear this ghost. It says, I'm only trying to help you get home. Lord above. Bunch of codgers. Listen to a hint, don't you?
No more, please.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord, that's better. I don't know if you've ever been a magically conjured ship before, but if you've never had your sails unfurled by a competent crew, you are messing out.
Aw, I wish I could have my sails unfurled sometime.
Let's make a deal. I will tell you how to raise a flag, since none of you can clearly do it, and you promise not to throw me in the garbage.
Oof, you drive a hard bargain.
Yeah.
No time seems to have passed. The long day ahead of you. And this ship in a bottle, it looks much the same as it did before, except for the flag has been raised.
Aw.
And on it is a stiff piece of fabric that stands out, a red field with a black rose upon it.
Time is the enemy, the past, it threatens the fastest weapon. You wouldn't make it past a second, and that's the question. Play it brash and reckless, or choose a cautious solution you thought was prudent. In any sepulcher, pulchritude will become the putrid. It's that wealth that I'm pursuing. No mountain too steep or dungeon too deep to send expended remarks up to the top of the peak or beneath. They see you bleed, they come like sharks to it, while I swim in that money bin like Carl Barks drew it. So send your national parks druid, I'll send them home in a natural box with a closed top and most of the parts included. Save your breath for a cleric confessor. Death is a lesson and life is a tenured professor. But if you're seeking my official advice, sign on the dotted line and initial it twice.
Cool running.
Bader Meinhof
Thank you.
runnings.
It's the Olympics.
Hello. I'm Tycho Brahe of Penny Arcade and PAX. I am also a Manifest Hereward Drawn CEO of Acquisitions Incorporated, but today I'm your internet friend, Jeffrey K. Horcrims, and I'm here to run a game of Dungeons and Dragons for my friends, specifically these friends. To my right, she's a coherent beam of Lathandra's holy light. It's Evelyn Marthain. Yeah. Please, all the traditional Evelyn Marthain coronet. Yeah, please, manifest that. To the right of my right, he's the Owl Boy Turna, Scowl to Joy. It's still said correctly.
I believe in you.
Yeah, I felt that in a place. To the right of my right, once more with feelings, is Prism.
Hello. I'm getting eaten by Zoom.
Here, devoured.
Nom.
Now, Prism, as a secondary thing, did you know that when we introduce Prism and then when you manifest Prism at the beginning, like your face physically changes?
Really? Wow.
I want you, after this show, I want you to go back and look at your own face.
No, impossible. Next question.
Next question. I'm done. To my left, it's been 1 week since we've seen Yispin Tende.
It's been 2 weeks, actually.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And then, indeed, to the left of my left, more like Thirst from the Quiver, it is, in fact, Thirst from the Quiver. Made manifest. Made manifest before us. Now, I understand a very...
Oh, man. Was that a Jeb Bush? Yeah.
It's a deeply
Please clap.
Chris job is a big fat joke.
But
A mess.
He's a mess.
You need a please clap background. You can just be ensconced in it
Perfect.
Right. It's assumed, yeah.
and encourage others. So we are going to jump 100% directly into a pool of molten bureaucracy.
Incredible.
Hell yeah.
With today's
Oh, what's my sword doing?
Yeah. It's become a quill. It's a massive evil quill, and signing a mortgage. So
oh wow, rates couldn't be better. It's good time.
no, it's a 10-year, but it's like it's a HELOC, so it's like it goes like this. You know what I mean? At the end of that phase. Anyway, is that not what you want, Prism? You don't want to talk about mortgage?
I don't want to hear human names. I don't want to hear human concepts.
Fantasy mortgage, though.
Yeah, exactly. Is usury impressive in D&D? So if we go back in time very briefly, it was Quiver's intention to try and figure out, try to untangle some of the mechanisms around the verifiers, and who is actually responsible for these things here.
Right.
And that is hopefully what I can offer you in tonight's delicate affair. So what we're looking for at this point, imagine that our beloved party, the C team, is standing between two massive buildings. And these are the buildings in the scepter, the central portion, the sort of that cleaves the two sides of Sparata from each other. And that is where most of the machinery of the town, legally, and the mystic infrastructure that governs its cults, all is sort of seated. And these two buildings look like, it's like imagine if you got like Castle Grayskull, and then you have like wherever Skeletor hangs out. Imagine that we have two buildings that look like they were designed to do cosmic battle on some esoteric legal plane.
That just made me realize that what Skeletor's house look like? Is it not a huge skull? Why was He-Man's thing a skull? That's weird.
No,
That's not okay.
It's deep.
Wasn't it Castle Grayskull? I was never really into He-Man.
No. Yeah, listen. We'll.
How many skulls are we looking at on the street?
Table talk.
Yeah.
Table talk. Between these two buildings, there's precisely 0 skulls. But to your left is the actual seat of legal mechanical power. It looks as though it was made by a person who understands load-bearing structures, and then which certainly is a benefit to it. To your right stands the counterexample. Somehow, and it could be that it could be that there is a mystically inclined masonry guild here somewhere in Sparata that knows where the tolerances are for something like this. But imagine a building that looks like imagine a dark Yankee Candle. And that's basically the situation that we have here. A building that looks as though it is being melted from within, and yet still somehow, again, there could be a mystical element.
It's like the Disney concert hall then.
Yes, exactly. It retains an aperture for the citizenry to enter and experience.
Frank Gehry kind of.
Yeah. We used to work on that. Well, table talk.
Human names.
Indeed, and just outside is the is Brahma seated on Rosie's old haunt pulled up just outside. She doesn't appear to have taken much notice of this. She has not joined the party out in the street.
She's just sitting on the cart.
She is taking it in. Although what it is in this exact moment, it's sort of the it's a spontaneous fermentation thing. Whatever strange thought she is currently processing is not available to anyone else.
If we look at the signs on both sides of this street, what is the description for each building?
I would love to tell you, but I cannot read them.
We are practicing. We are trying.
Sound it out, Yitzvin.
You can do it.
Sound it out.
It says, she's looking between the sign and evil, and she's like, cult a building.
Oh, but it's not even the right.
You did it.
But it's not even the right words. So she is reading and pronouncing the words cult building. And what it says, in fact, is the House of the Greater Law.
That's so close. House of the Greater Law. Very close. Cult building sounds just like that. You'll get it soon.
I'm getting so close now. Any day.
What of the other, the melting building?
That is the melting building.
That one, that sign says. So Yitzvin looks at that one and says, melting building.
Wow, that's 100% right. Look at that improvement.
I am fully literate now.
Wow, you're going to do all the reading for us from now on.
That's right. Or get your degree. You know?
TV VCR repair.
I want the commercial. I want that commercial with Yitzvin Attende. And I want it to be completely read by Yitzvin Attende.
For you, Jerry, I'll make it happen.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, so you can see there's a steady trickle in and out each of these manifestations of power in the city. But out on the sort of seated on the middle step of the walkway into the House of the Greater Law is the High Admonisher, or at any rate, the individual you've had the occasion to speak to on more than one time.
Or his identical twin.
Yes, exactly. Or a psychic apparition. We could. I mean, we could go for a while.
Or some sort
Spend
of
all day here.
drug-induced hallucination.
Yeah, a shared
Mass
hallucination.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
It could be the result of a spore.
Not this time. Not this time.
Nice try, Jerry.
You and your spores.
Does he look admonished, or does he?
To be perfectly frank with you, Yitzvin Attende, he does in fact look somewhat admonished. His forehead sweats freely. To it cling several strands of dark hair, making strange letters there in the moist wading pool he's operating up top.
Yes.
And
Ryan and I made the same face.
and he's joined on the stair by what seems to be a close companion, a bottle of perhaps a foot in height, whose stopper appears to be nowhere in sight.
A foot tall bottle with no stopper.
Yeah.
Is that a
That's
bong?
his companion. Does it have like arms and legs?
No, but this is the place.
Oh God!
If only it did.
You had me,
It's a
Jerry,
lot
and then you lost me. All you had to do was
So
tell me
close.
this was a walking, talking, fucking battle, and I'm there.
I mean, no. Let's go back. It jumps up and says, "Well, hi,
Hey! Say hey, little buddy.
Yeah.
it's me, Mr. Bottle Belly."
Hi, Mr. Bottle Belly.
No, none of this is real.
Man,
This game sucks.
Yes.
Yitzbin leans down to Prism and whispers, stage whisperer, very theatrical, says, looks like someone is feeling a feeling.
Oh my goodness. You're right. I am.
Yes.
And she shines a little more pink. And then she looks around and she's taking in how everybody else is feeling and seemingly not interested until she sees the admonisher and she goes, and she looks fueled by it. Like she could siphon off the emotional energy
Just
at any moment.
It's like at Beechers, like you can just go in and like sweep the curds straight out.
Yes, that is a cheese making shop for anyone not from this immediate area.
Oh, for the podcast, cheese is made from curds.
Yes. Cheese is stored in the curds.
No way. Cheese is stored in the curds.
You extract the cheese from the curds.
Crack them open.
How's it going?
I got
cheese
myself.
cracker to get that out.
But
I'm so sorry.
No, if you laugh so hard that you have to mute your own ass, that's great. No, so what? He has reached the point of drunkenness where he feels the need to perpetually flex the fingers of his hands and tighten them into fists.
How far away from him are we?
In my conception, you are simply here by the cart, sort of near the middle of the street. From here, perhaps it's only the work of a moment. 30 feet, one standard turn movement.
Let me roll and see if I move. No, I don't. Okay. So I do this to the group where I like push everybody back and I go,
Okay.
I'll handle this. And I walk up to him, and I take him in for a minute, like really studying. She really looks like she is like dowsing the precise thing that he's feeling. And she goes, I have a feeling that you're feeling. I want to say hungry. Are you? You're very hungry.
I could eat.
See, I turn to them. I'm like, expert.
Yeah, it's a psychic compass.
And then she goes, oh, wait, you're upset. Something's upsetting you. And that's making you hungry.
No, I think that part's wrong. I would eat, but no, I gotta say, this is probably the first good day in a long time, but it's like, it's been such a long time that I don't know how to feel good.
And that upsets you. See?
Yes.
I know. And then I go, anyway, our cat friend wants to talk to you. And then I walk away.
She warmed him up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we should talk again. That was good. Thanks.
I know, I helped.
Perhaps you say you are in a good mood. You feel good.
I think that's what this is. I would have to think about it longer to really understand it. But I think that this is a good feeling. And I'm just and then he grabs the bottle and spins it in the air for a little bit to gauge its volume. Grabs a gulp. Mr. Bottlebelly grabs a gulp and sets it down, and he says, "No, I think I might be sad."
Aha! What did I say? You all heard it.
Perhaps you are sad because two of your machines have not dispatched their target. In fact, having been expertly destroyed by us.
Which? What? My machines? And he looks
Are they
up
not yours?
he looks up and down the street as though he's been found out.
You have been found out by me.
Which? How do you know about them?
Shoot, Chris is forgetting the name of these
Well, they're called verifiers, but I'm not even sure.
verifiers.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I don't think we actually heard the name though, right?
Right.
Not in game.
Not these people.
We were at our place of business, and we were beset upon by 2 lampposts, which changed the shape into murderous weapons.
He with palpable relief sweeps those soaking strands away from his shining forehead, and he says, "Oh, no, okay, no, those aren't my machines. You're thinking about that. No, those aren't mine. Those aren't the machines that I."
What are the machines that are
Mine are
yours?
different machines. I'd rather not talk about that. Let's talk about the machines that you mentioned.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair.
Sorry to interrupt. Quiver.
Yeah, Steph,
Not at all. We just want answers. This is all.
Oh, he says now. So we're talking about a hideous. I mean, I don't want to editorialize here, but tell me if I'm close. Are you talking about a hideous, unrelenting, polymorphic assassin device? Am I close?
Does it begin as a lamppost?
Well, it can. Yeah, I mean that's. I mean, they can do that. It can.
Does your machine start as a lamppost?
No.
Okay.
No, and that's how you know that I'm not culpable. Listen, I wish that I could help you, and I'll do my best. I mean, I'll do my best to help you, but I am no longer the High Admonisher. So there's limits to my pull. I think you're talking about a verifier that's connected with the Sooth, but the Sooth just had their license revoked, and the verifiers are sort of a vestigial. I mean, I would say a minor bureaucratic obstacle at this point. That will be managed, to be sure, but yeah, one of the very few sort of sister cults, the Sooth and the verifiers, but without the Sooth to temper them. But my suspicion is that the verifiers are going on some bad or even strange information. But me, not the High Admonisher. And Admonisher, to be sure, I could admonish you. We could set up a time.
We would prefer that you admonish these machines.
He says,
if you are a free agent now.
He says, I would be willing to help you navigate some of these complexities this afternoon. And I'd be more than happy to do it. Now, the new guy, I mean, I don't know anything about him. High Admonisher is a position that typically lasts 14 days. But the new guy is undergoing the raiment right now, and you know he should be ready for us to put in a request soon. But I mean, I know where a lot of the records are kept. We could dig around downstairs if you wanted. We could check out a thing or two. What do you think?
Just a moment. It's being so helpful.
Yeah.
Turn back to the party.
I was gonna say that. Like, why is he just helping us?
Well, why wouldn't he help us?
He's a
drunk,
yeah,
and a sad, hungry man.
I've known
Yes.
lots of drunk, hungry, sad people that are still very helpful.
Are they helpful in spite of this or because of it?
That's a good question. I guess it depends on the person and what they're drinking and why they're sad.
how hungry they are.
That's a really good
I'm a
point.
day.
There are
I
too
will,
many factors.
I will ascertain some of this information. One moment. I turn to the High Admonisher. I say, we need to know before we...
Startled. As soon as that massive deck gun of a torso orients itself it's a lot for him to take all at once.
I will give you a moment to adjust to my beauty.
He calibrates and nods for you to continue.
Thank you. We need to know, before we decide whether or not we come with you, what are you drinking?
He looks into the bottle, smells it, and says, I found it.
Thank you very much. I turn back to the group. Whatever he's drinking, he found it. It did not find him. There you go, Miss Evelyn. I hope this helps.
That is very helpful, I think. I don't see any reason why we shouldn't trust him and go see these records. I love records. If he thinks that's going to give us some answers.
Yes. We will follow you.
He takes a moment. He takes a moment to thoroughly dry his palms on the robe that covers his knees.
Like OOC, because it's been 2 weeks, and I can only remember like a goldfish. Anything that happened,
Like a
No,
bird.
it's been decades.
Yeah. Why? Where do we end off after we killed the robots? We were coming here. What was our stated goal?
You want to figure out the sort of the underpinnings, like who's responsible for the verifiers as a
And why?
whose fault is it, basically.
Okay. We deduced that they were sent from another cult, and we're trying to figure out which cult sent them.
Yeah,
Exactly.
he just said it was the Sooth.
We
Okay.
need to know
But
which
they've
butt
been-
to kick.
Yeah.
They've been dissolved or something. They're no longer.
Yeah, they're
around.
not around. Right.
But he seems like he's familiar with the. He knew exactly what we were describing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he is absolutely a creature of this mystical bureaucracy. He knows.
Yeah, he's not
all
of the Sooth
kinds
as
of
far as
stuff.
we know, though. I don't.
Yeah,
But then why do we need to go to the down under the building, some secluded place with a weirdo? Let's just press him to get us to tell us right now.
Because it's the adventure. It's the thing of the stories we'll have.
Make
to
him
tell
work
after
for it.
this.
I'm just making him work for it.
It sounds like, so what I'm gathering is that these lamppost creatures used to belong to the Sooth.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, he's suggested that for a period of time they constituted a rare sort of sister cult. Happens, but it's not too common. But the Sooth and the verifiers had something like an ecological relationship in the city, but with the Sooth is no longer an active quantity here in town. He suggests.
I see. So there's no one stopping them.
Apparently, and they are verifying something else.
Yeah. Then we will go with him. We will give him a reason to help us. We will buy him more of this. We will find more of this drink that he located, and we will tell him a joke, so he will not be sad.
That helps.
This could
Absolutely.
satisfy him.
Yeah, exactly.
Small friend. Do you know joke?
There are a number of us here. I did not think it would fall to me. I know only tabaxi jokes. and translating, you lose so much of the meaning.
Tell us one.
Yeah.
Tell us
exactly.
just one tabaxi joke. Maybe we'll get it.
Thank you, Evelyn, because I mean I'm not voiced that way. I don't have an
I didn't do it
in
this
here.
time. I want
There is-
Chris to know.
There is this one kills. There is a very small cat next to a very tall cat, and he says,
A cat or a tabaxi?
"No, a cat.
Okay,
Very
cat.
important, astute. You are paying attention. A
Yeah.
very tall." He says, "May I have some milk?" And the other one is saying, "I can't give you milk," and he falls down.
That's so funny. Falling down is really funny. I think it's really funny when people fall down, unless they hurt themselves. Then it's not funny. But presuming the cat didn't hurt yourself, you know.
He's not small.
Evelyn's like arm around his shoulder, like crying, laughing with him.
Oh, fuck. I love tabaxi jokes.
You'll have to tell us more of those when we're not too busy.
Oh.
Jesus Christ.
Does the Monitor look happier?
Yeah, did he enjoy it?
He does not. He is still he like, just from the look in his eyes, it looks like he's trying to compute a valid Bitcoin. Like there's so much information in this joke that he is like madly trying to hook up all the cross-cultural references to arrive at the joke. Ultimately,
this is an abiding sadness.
ultimately, he sighs. You assume just the exhaust from his cognition.
He's offended by tall cats. It has the opposite effect. You've like this is like the equivalent of like making fun of his mom. He got really pissed.
He's like, my cat's tall. Whoa.
No,
I have a tall cat at home.
Whoa! You're talking about tall cats, 2020? Whoa!
No. In the upper left-hand corner, the high monitor will remember that. It's just like, okay, I see the kind of fucking asshole we're dealing with here.
Yeah.
No, so yeah, after you, we are ready to go in. I believe.
All right. He stands up, and it takes a while. It's like, are you familiar with a bridge layer as a machine?
Nope.
Oh yeah.
So it's a device that has atop it a mechanical bridge that it can extend and put out, but it takes a long time. And it looks like he is remembering some fundamental knee-based concepts as he comes up. So he is as surprised as everyone else. It's as though he is watching a man do this along with you. He feels a kinship with all the other observers first.
Great.
And he gets there, and then he sees that the bottle is still down. And so he reaches down
Oh no.
fruitlessly, and then sits.
Oh, here we go again.
And now he's got the bottle,
Okay.
and he's psyching himself up for round 2.
And
I
then
mean, that's a big mood.
It's a big mood.
Yeah.
It's a big mood. And he extends himself and appears to have discovered a way to manage the additional weight on one side.
okay.
And when he finally stands up, he stands up as though he's on an Olympic podium. Like he can see the life that he will have from here. And he's going to work toward it. That's right. He's going to work toward it.
The
do on
NPC
these
stood
stairs.
up, everybody.
Yeah.
we got him. We got him.
He steps up backward on the next step, decides that may be beyond him,
Uh-oh.
turns in place, and gestures the rest of you to follow him in.
Oh, I'm already like, I went way past him. Did not wait. No manners. Just waltzed in.
I gotta make sure all my little chickens get in.
Absolutely. So, as you go in, it is in every way, like the most dismal, DMV type experience where it's very orderly, that they're discussing complex things that, metaphysically, but the actual practice looks very, very boring. As you enter this, you can see a variety of lines going toward distinct sections, completely bored out of their gourd sorceresses filling out things. And there is just in and to the left, you can see someone endeavoring to fill out the documents required to found a cult in town. Because in order to engage in these sorts of practices, in order to engage in a religious practice, it has to be registered here in the town. But this is this rippling haunch, Yitzbin, is one that you recognize instinctively. At a fundamental level, there's a resonance. And you can see Dolores Bondi filling something out, and he is trying. He is filling the document out while explaining to her why he shouldn't have to fill it out, and so it's taking twice as long because he is trying, to mesh with this machine and also resisting it.
Excellent.
And as he fills the bottom part of it out and signs it, she says, he's like, do I owe you coin, or is the amount of time I've invested in this process sufficient? And she says, yes, that will be. And then she consults an hourglass on the counter, and she says, that will be one extemporaneous poem detailing an unrequited love. And his front two hooves just clack like a double. It's almost exactly the same time, but it's the expression of dismay that no one else here understands. It's just a double tap of it. He exhales and then says, it's been a 10-day. Comprende? It's been a minute since I lifted Get the Bengay. Friends say, maybe you should keep it in a friend way. Hit the bricks, say, like Ixnay on the horseplay.
Oh my God.
But I'm thinking that I need her in the worst way. So I told him, I'm never gonna fold him. Nay.
What? The finish with a nay.
Yes!
and he folds his arms, sighs from this barrel chest, and he says, I assume that's sufficient? And she says, I'm afraid not. She says, are you sure this love is unrequited? He finds more air somewhere in that chest to expel in an exasperated way, and turns, and you're only 2 feet away.
How many hands is that?
That's like 3 horse hands.
Approximately 6.
Yeah. You're only 6 hooves.
I lean over and say, this is really expensive.
It is. Like it's I'm sure he'd rather give a coin, but this place is horseshit.
Okay, so he turns at the moment that he turns, Yitzbin faints.
You ever seen a horse faint?
It's a whole thing.
It's like those legs kick out, like so much mass. Yeah.
I want to imagine it's like a cartoon horse where all the legs go out diagonally. Just
for sure. Yeah, all the legs go out diagonally. She lands on her whole
belly,
torso belly. Yeah.
Her horso. Let's just
her horso.
Establish that that's a term.
The human half of her is leaning over. It's a mess. It looks like a spider has died here.
Legs curl up.
Yeah.
Oh no! I don't want that horse knee.
No.
That's the last thing we want.
How long does this take? Like 30 seconds.
At least. Yeah, approximately. And there's like, she's huge. She's crashing into people's cubicles in this horrible DMV. There's folding chairs akimbo everywhere.
No, there's people trying to get petitions signed.
Oh yeah. No, business has been halted.
Yeah, it's over. It's trying to get work done in here is now completely impossible.
It's unclear whether this feint is real or not, because it's completely ostensible that this is something that Yitzbin has done simply to avoid the awkward confrontation that would have
This was better. Yeah.
This was better.
I fly over. I rush to her side.
Oh no!
And I try to heal her. I try to assess if she's hurt and cast Cure Wounds. And I'm all in her face.
That gets me.
Getting dander everywhere. Are you okay? Are you okay?
I'm gonna roll for like a Constitution check to see if I can resist coming back to life here. Oh, I can do it on roll 20. It's actually never been easier.
You mean D&D Beyond?
Yeah,
Sorry,
D&D Beyond.
Beyond.
I saw this.
Oh, that's right. No, they have the. How are the dice good?
Yeah. Okay.
So good.
The
They
D&D
did such a good job.
You could just click a button now and it calculates it all. Yeah.
Oh hell yes!
You can
Great.
just click on your attack and stuff. You don't even have to do the dice math.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's amazing. I'm gonna do a Constitution saving throw right now. Here goes. Click. Okay, and then it'll add my modifier for me. 15.
Yeah, that's sufficient.
Okay. All right. So I stay completely. I stay unconscious. If anybody notices anything, it's that like there's like a groan that's coming from my chest because I'm trying so hard to keep my eyes closed and let this bird do his disgusting work.
So I'm like making a big scene, like trying to heal you, and now you're not getting up, so I get more worried. I've just healed her. I cast Cure Wounds.
Dolores
I healed her for 9. Okay, she should be better, guys. She should be better. She's not getting better. Sound the alarm! You other horse, sound the alarm! This is serious.
Other horse.
I'm trying to hold her head.
Yeah.
She's dead or something. Someone help, for the love of God!
Dolores looks over at you, Evelyn, and says, "I don't think this bat is helping."
What bat?
He tilts his head and just sort of like nods toward Still.
Oh, Still's not a bat, but he's helping in the best way he knows how. Here, I'll help too. She'll go and try to revive Yitzbin.
Oh my God. All right. So at this point, there's
pouring healing spells on someone faking it.
You're dumping 100 hit dice.
a fantasy
heals.
like defibrillator comes out. Like, yes,
Well, no.
clear.
No, and you're completely fine. I mean, there's a point at which you're just going to be pretending to be out.
I know. I'm totally fine. I realized that this has been a miscalculation. And so once Evelyn comes over, I am like, all right, I got it. And I have excellent performance skills for reasons which may become apparent later. But if I need to perform this, then I will. But I come to with a,
Too much?
bad feathers in face. What happened in the last 30 seconds? I cannot remember. I have small amnesia.
Right. There is, in the midst of these gleaming paladins and these dusty birds, there is also a strong arm extended.
Ooh, spicy?
My eyes follow that arm up to its source.
It's just an arm.
What?
No, it's the centaur's arm. It's not.
Okay.
Evelyn like sees that and does that like eyebrow raise, get out of the way, like clear
very
the space.
smooth,
Yeah.
very smooth.
Oh, my brother Norms, it is so good to see you again. It has been too long and I reach for the arm and to pull myself up. The hooves go sliding in a very ice rink kind of a situation. It's not graceful.
No, the arm attempts to steady you from behind as well until it's almost like the top half of a waltz.
Oh. And I find myself inadvertently in this like dancer's pose with this other centaur.
Dude, this, okay, keep in mind that this is the most exciting thing that's happened in this office in probably 20 years.
1,000 years.
Evelyn is standing next to Prism, being like,
No, there's no breathing happening.
okay.
There's no breathing?
It's still.
It's poisonous in here.
Oh, I see.
Dying.
No, Prism, it is watching all this, and the more commotion, like everybody paying attention to Yitzbin, she's just been like, when she fell over, she was like, Okay. Yep. All right.
She knows a diva move when she sees one.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, you let me know when she's done.
Bondi of the desert.
Yeah.
You are
okay. Yeah, absolutely. The face, like the facial structure softens with this suffix.
You have given me very much assistance today, and tomorrow I will repay the favor. It's just like it's this very formal way of thanking people.
Oh yeah, it's like the maximally.
It's so formal.
When my suspicion is that it's something like a promise.
Ooh yeah, I like that. I like that. Yeah,
it's like a special centaur thing. It's a special.
It's
bond.
a special centaur thing.
You wouldn't understand it, okay?
She wants to understand it. Evelyn is seeing this like love story unfolding, but she yet again feels like she's just outside the grasp of a love story.
Oh,
watching it from the window.
With the arms sort of reluctantly go back down to her sides, and she kind of wipes her hands off, dusts herself, and she says, at this point, because let's do some centaur lore stuff. Because she had to thank him, because she now owes him, she's not allowed to make eye contact. So now she has her eyes downcast, even though she dwarfs him in size. This is my headcanon. He's very strong, but he's wiry and small, like a good male centaur should be. So she's like, her eyes are, she looks very subservient. She's like, you are a member, of course, cover business. My comrades also cover business. You remember Bondi of the desert?
Very nice to see you again, Bondi. Evelyn like extends a hand, but then is like not sure if that's a proper centaur greeting and kind of like bows and extends a hand.
Like over the top, like you get the crazy reach.
She's trying really hard.
Well, he tries to create whatever the opposite part of the ritual that you're doing. So he'll put an arm out but under and then tilt a little bit and then pull back and assess himself.
That's honestly beautiful. Two people just socially trying to make each other comfortable and honored, you know?
It endears me a little bit more to him as well, because I see in him that same tendency that I have, which is like, this is what city people do. All right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm a city person now.
Right. I'm in the mix.
So did we hear that poem that he said?
Yeah, it's completely out loud. Everybody has to hear it. Right. That's his expenditure. It's just like hearing a coin drop into a jar.
Gotcha. That was a beautiful poem that you recited.
He says, what poem?
The one you were saying about Yitzbin?
Yeah,
that you were saying when we came in? Yeah, feelings.
I recall no poem.
Wow, you must have a really short, no long-term memory. Is that something you've had all your life?
Yes.
Oh, that's too bad. I'll try to remind you of things that you do. I'll remind you every 2 minutes from now on that you said a poem about Yitzbin.
I'm hungry.
It's good that you remember that.
And he makes a move. He tries to part this sea, and then the breathing begins again in the room, the catalyst having left.
So he's gone.
He has moved out, and he has not looked back.
Love him and leave him.
That was the closest I've ever come to being proposed marriage to. Did you see how much he was all over me?
Did it make you uncomfortable?
No.
Okay.
What is opposite of uncomfortable?
Oh, that's very good. I'm glad. Because remember, you love Yitzbin. You wrote a poem about it. Do you remember that?
Yes, I think he's gone.
Just yelling at the door.
No.
Remember?
Yeah, and he is moving down, and he's just like looking at. There's like a wooden like a place to hitch your horse, and then he like just lifts up one of the straps on it, like just like looks at it like that's what he's doing right now, and then nods a couple times, shakes his head like what a tragedy, drops it down, continues down the street, and he does this at each of two other ones that he stops by. He just takes in as much data as he can and considers it.
He's a horse rights activist like me. We share the same values.
So that's the Jim Dark Magic you keep talking about.
Oh,
cool.
No.
I thought he'd be taller. I'm sorry. Is that rude?
James Dark Magic is of medium height, but is a human, not a skinny little wiener like that one.
No, but still, I like that. It's just like a human. That's cool, huh?
Yeah, it takes
Good
all
for him.
types, you know.
Good for him. You know what I mean?
You know?
He must like that.
Oh, that's beautiful. That is beautiful.
Hey.
Evelyn's human, right? Theoretically.
Uh-huh.
This is the first time we've ever had a human in our party, y'all.
Yeah.
Wow.
Enjoy it.
They're talking about humans and how cool humans are, and Evelyn is like excited about that, but also feels very otherized.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's not how cool they are either. It's like, yeah, you know, good for them. Good, you know,
I'm like,
God bless them.
Yeah, prison. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
You know what? He's making the best of it.
You know what? I mean, like, I'm kind of like a flying human or whatever, so I don't know. It's like,
Human
I'm talking about you.
Yeah.
No, that was a Dolores Bondi of the desert.
we remember.
He is from the clan Salamandra, and he is magic user. You magic user not welcome in my village.
Why?
Oh, in my village, what is prized is strongness, strength.
strength.
Is only muscles that get you ahead in the world. But I have never met one. I have never met a centaur of Salamandra before. I find my thoughts consumed by him.
Do you believe that only strength matters?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This is something you and I have in common. Yes, you're very strong.
Well, didn't you know that I'm also a magic user?
Yitzman leaves the party.
Yeah.
It's been disconnected.
Yitzman EXE has stopped responding.
We're gonna have to. I want to speak to the task manager. You know what I mean? Well, Shadow Council.
Oh,
Geez.
If you can possibly conceive of it, we have been engaged in this behavior for as much as an hour. Shameful as though that may be, but we're recidivists. We'll be back in just a moment to produce the sort of content you love to endure. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back. Hello, I'm Jeffrey K. Horcrims, and welcome back to Tessie Teams. When last we saw our heroes, they had just resolved a profoundly romantic encounter in the foyer of the House of the Greater Law. And now they have but to resolve the reason that they came here. So as we suggested previously, Quiver, this once high admonisher, now somewhat lesser on many axes.
So it was a bum.
Indeed. Has offered his help exploring the guts of this, trying to figure out the provenance of these different cults. Obviously, at least one of them in the matrix of things that you're interested in has actually been collapsed in the legal sense already. But there may still be information to mine out of this this bureaucratic zone, this shaft beneath the earth.
You were about to say something, Prism.
Oh, I just said I'm playing the wrong character for this episode, but go ahead.
Right, yeah.
If only, God. But you know what, though? It'd just be advantage on everything. You know, there'd be no effort, really.
Everyone else could just go home.
We could engage.
We could carry this all.
We could engage in a classic dialect.
Oh, Prism's staring at a butterfly. This is all too boring.
Amid all that, maybe a Quiver it turns to Evelyn to say, I am concerned that this man who's offered his help, he will do something wrong, and it will seem like we are with him, and then we will also have done this thing wrong.
What kind of wrong thing are you thinking he'll do?
Perhaps using his knowledge of his former job to break into where he used to work, to get information for the people who should not have it.
The people who should not have it being us?
Yes. I want the information. I think it is important to have.
Mm-hmm.
But not if he is so very drunk as he is.
Well, you know what I could do is, let me just check something really fast.
Are you going to check it via D&D Beyond?
Yeah, you know, with D&D Beyond, it's never been easier to check this thing that I'm checking. So
I just opened up the thing checker. Wow.
New functionality.
So here's what Evelyn's going to do. She's like, oh, if being drunk is the problem, I can totally help with that. And she goes over to the guy and she pats him on the shoulder and she's like, hey, buddy, we need you to focus a little bit. And she's going to lay on hands for 5 HP, which neutralizes a poison affecting a creature.
Whoa.
And just sober him up instantly.
Awesome.
Without asking.
That's great.
It happens. It happens immediately. It's like, obviously, the rest of the physical effects are there. There's a mop, a drenched mop up top, right? But his stature changes immediately. Like he becomes 2 inches taller instantly as a result of this, and he brushes that. He brushes the trailing hairs away, and he doesn't really seem to have. He doesn't really seem to understand it. He's just sort of like coasting on it now.
Oh, just like I feel better.
Quiver, so if you have any questions for our friend here, now he would be of more clear mind.
In this capacity as a person who's been let go, are we allowed to get this information with you?
You mean,
or will we be attacked again by devices?
He says, with a renewed interest and personability, he's been freshened by this mystical act. He says, you just want to make sure that it's cool if we go down in there and rate it.
Yeah. Oh, yes. In this is your terminology, certainly, but
Probably. I think so.
it will have to do.
While he's distracted talking about all this stuff, I want to look at his bottle just out of bird curiosity.
Just see if it's got some arms, got some legs.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm looking at it's shiny, so I'm like, yeah, it's caught my eye.
Is that my old pal Bottle Belly?
Is this Bottle Belly?
What is it? Give me a perception roll.
I could do it with one click, Jerry.
With what, Ryan? With what could you do it with one click?
With D&D Beyond, it couldn't be easier. It hurts me how easy this is, guys.
I dwelled in darkness.
Let's see. I clicked it, and I got 20. Dirty 20, though.
Remember when we had to use our hands and throw
It adds
rocks on the table?
it gives you a little. It tells you because I got a 14, but it's like, whoa, I'm not done. And then it does a little animation and adds the 6 to it. Yeah, so I got a 20.
I haven't even seen it yet.
It's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. It's well done.
So what information are you trying to derive? Because if
I want to know what's in the bottle,
perception, you've got it.
I don't know. I want everyone to be happy and their best. And it seemed like he was a little more than drunk. I just want to see what's in the bottle. I want to see what's going on with this little bottle.
Absolutely. So sort of in the shadows, it's a sort of like a light green bottle, and you can see herbs or something. As the total volume of liquid has gotten down, the density of herbs sort of swishing around in the base.
Heineken with pulp.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like a Snapple.
Base is it. Shake first, right?
It's kombucha, I think.
Shake before.
Is he boochin'?
Yeah.
Smooching it.
Exactly. Down in the base of this, there's a thick coin made out of slime, and that's how you know that it's the booch. No.
Oh yeah.
No. It's like your cleric training gives you a view into this. You think that it is you think that it's like a ceremonial, almost like a embalming fluid.
Ooh.
It's not made for normal consumption, is what I'm inferring.
No. You think this is something he might have gotten out of a box? Where religious artifacts are kept, maybe, when you establish a religion, it's possible you have to say, "Oh, here's our sacraments," and you think that he might have, made a play for something on the way out.
Oh, tisk.
Okay, all right.
When
Naughty.
Well, I'll hide it from him then.
But the breath, so fresh.
Absinthe will do that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll hide the bottle. I'll pocket the bottle to protect him from himself.
It's as tall as you are.
No, it was like a foot tall.
Yeah.
Where you gonna hide it?
How tall are you still?
Like 4 feet.
Oh, okay.
Which is not that much shorter than Evelyn. Evelyn's 5 feet. She just seems taller because she flies.
when he is saying when he's talking to Quiver and he's saying probably
right.
Prism goes up to butts in, completely butts in, and goes, are we breaking rules here? I can't, I'm a public figure. I can't be seen doing these kind of shenanigans. Is this against the rules? Are we going to get in trouble?
Okay.
I'm going to butt into Prism butting in.
This is the third butt in now?
So many butts.
And I say, are we laying? Is this lies? Again, and I start sweating.
And I go, exactly, Yitzpin. And I would like everyone to do a charisma 15 for Zone of Truth.
Is it saving throw?
Wow.
It's do a charisma saving throw.
Okay.
Yep.
If anyone is within my aura, I think they add 5 to that.
Yep. They do.
Oh wow! I did not.
No, I want everyone to fail.
Then I get a 20 if I get the Evelyn bonus.
With Evelyn's bonus, I get an 18.
All right, so it's just Quiver and maybe
No,
this
what
guy.
was your bonus? I absolutely didn't get it. I rolled a 1.
Yeah,
And I
Plus
have
5.
no charisma bonus. Yeah.
this dude got a 9. So
Incredible.
so he says, "Look, is it 100% on the up and up?" No, probably not. But is it the sort of thing that that we can easily resolve? Do I know somebody maybe here in the front office? Like, do I have a relationship that I built up with them as a direct result of my having just let go of the high admonisher position? There's somebody in here I got a little bit of pull with. I don't think so. Probably not. They're going to be talking about my reign of terror for years.
All 14 days of it?
You'd think, kid. You'd think. You big, oh, it's only 14 days. You know what they're going to say? It was only 14 days.
Well, in
God.
that case,
Well,
hypothetically.
no. One moment, Golden Lady. Listen.
Okay. Yeah, I'm listening.
So there is something about the administration of Sparata you don't know.
Oh.
Tell me if this doesn't wet your whistle. After you work here on this side of the street, you do a stint on the other side of the street. So let's
Yvonne
say you
looks
do
across the street.
let's say you do get into a bunch of trouble. I can fix it for you over there.
Over there being...
City Hall.
Oh.
Melting building.
Oh, we can fight City Hall.
So
I
you're saying I can get in trouble,
Yes.
get a bad boy rebel image,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
pay no price for it,
Correct.
but still get the teens all worked up.
Exactly. So do you find that intoxicating at all?
Yes, we must do this.
Can I just ask, hypothetically, if
Yes.
we were to do this through official channels and request this information as, procedures dictate, what would that look like?
You would die first. You'd die
Why?
before you got it.
Because it would take so long?
Exactly right.
Well, then in that case, the greater good demands it, I would say. Don't you think?
Yes, that's what I thought before. And he walks. He turns, and then imagine that is sort of like a bar, in the same way that you might have a bar in an inn of some kind, a pub, except that this bar dispenses bureaucratic frustration, and it sort of surrounds inside the room in a vaguely U-like shape, and then he turns and then walks directly into the part of the bar that you should lift up. And it catches him right in the diaphragm. And he goes, oh!
Mm-hmm.
Rough.
He's been juiced.
You hate to see that.
Mm-hmm.
You do hate to see it.
You hate to see it.
He holds a hand up. And the most horrifying part about this is that you know that he's dead sober. It's just who he is. He lifts up his other hand, gives that savage diaphragm a tender rub, and invites everyone behind the line.
I motion
Yeah.
to let Prism go first. This is about her image.
Prism.
Oh, this is the image. This is the picture, right? This is the album photo.
Yeah. Okay. So Prism tosses her hair and looks around and says a little too loudly, "Come on, gang! We're breaking all the rules today." So who else is it?
This is like the snapshot for social media.
Yeah, she's a little
blurry.
If like the paparazzi's looking, she's like,
It's like on the gram.
She does
Yeah,
it one,
exactly.
and then she's like, wait, can I do it again? And you take a boomerang real quick.
work the angles.
So she's like opening the bar and closing it in a boomerang, like.
Without realizing that Prism is trying to go for this image, Yitzpin hangs back and is like, "Miss Prism, are you sure?"
Yeah, I do stuff like this all the time. Nobody can stop me. I'm Prism of Cover Business, appearing tonight and every night at the Friend Hole, formerly the Friend Hole, Sunshine Parlor. You all know where I'm from.
You already know what it is. You haven't forgotten where you're from. You know what I mean? That's
Exactly.
what distinguishes Prism as a brand.
Yeah.
Still Prism from the block.
I was
Prism
gonna
from
say
the friend
that.
hole.
Prism from the friend hole.
Like from
God,
back in
it
the day.
sucks.
Ultimately, you're going to have to shift it back just to get that old patina, right?
Oh, God.
It's like, I'm always advocating for a return to PAX Prime. Same story. Same story. So it's hard. Essentially, it looks like from behind the foyer, once you've gotten back in, nobody here is paid enough to give a shit. So
Right.
as you pass by some mail, and then you go through. Essentially, it looks something like a vault door. It isn't thick; it's not metal, but it's built in such a way to establish that it's a very important door, and it's essentially like a set of interleaved diamond patterns. And once you get through that, you have to go through other doors that are different shapes. It's like no one could decide which one was the most auspicious, and so it's just as a you can't even imagine the budget that went into this.
Does that mean Prism at every door has to like again make the image happen because we're not sure which door is like the most iconic one?
We should yeah, exactly like each one of these. It's like this would be like in the elite version, like the double album, like the double LP. It's like each side of it is her and like by a different door, and like somehow it's like more scandalous each time. It's like am I trampling on your sensibilities?
Yeah. We also don't want to like, you don't want to pose next to like, I'm being bad today, and it's like, oh, by the third door where pretty much everybody can go. Who cares?
Everyone's seen that door.
No.
Yeah.
Door 4, the
mighty door. Sorry.
That one, yeah, that's gonna make some moves.
Sorry.
So, unfortunately, once you get past the fourth door, you descend into
Madness.
well, functionally speaking, yes, nightmare, bureaucratic nightmare geometry, where there's stairs going up, stairs going down, and you think there might be additional stairs at each of the other levels, but essentially you have entered into this. Actually just looks like some weirdo's collection of documents. This doesn't look like something that you would do on purpose.
Jerry, what did I tell you? I said, please don't put us in a room that's just full of stairs. Jerry, I'm playing a centaur this year. Just don't. That's all you have to do is just not give us a room that's full of stairs.
I wrote this section as soon as you told me that. I want to challenge you, you know?
Oh, you will?
Yeah. Well, hopefully the document's on this floor. I mean, think about that. Wouldn't that be auspicious?
That would be nice. Let's find it. Let's look at it. Let's find this document.
Yeah. Where do we start? Who has control of these verifiers?
Yeah. He says, well, we just gotta find V, I think. Or is it T?
The verifiers? Is that why?
Yeah. Verifiers, the.
Yeah. He puts his hands down on the banister and then like raises them up and rubs the dust on his fingers and then appears to think better of it. It's not his responsibility anymore.
Man.
Takes a certain comfort in that. He's like
Tristan, you're bemoaning like, oh man, wish I was Walnut for this app. Oh, to be Dinar with this kind of asshole. Oh God. Everything I want to say, I'm like, nah, I can't. Still wouldn't say that.
And it's like none of it's wide enough. Can you imagine his heart? Like when you walk down one of these aisles and you just shred,
and Walnut would die.
Just
you know what? Let's just play those characters. All right. Anyway, start over.
Well,
Rewind.
speaking of that, there is a. Let me very quickly take a look at the poll.
Uh-oh.
Generally speaking, I don't tell you the results of polls or even what the polls are. Do any of you look at them like bad kids?
Never.
Wow.
No.
All right, but I just want you to know this ahead of time because it'll be valuable. This week's poll is: should we check back in on the C team?
And
so far, it seems like that's what they want. So, in your mind, like
Ooh.
take this week to kind of, adjust, get back into that zone.
How do I gotta get back to feeling old and horny.
And I'm there.
I'm there.
And done. Yeah. I think there's a button on D&D Beyond for that, actually. You could just click it now.
It's never been easier.
Yes.
It's never been easier to be old and horny.
Exactly. So,
Dude, old and horny is a really good shirt.
Oh no.
oh my gosh.
God, it is.
The merchandise potential,
Oh.
it's astronomical.
Jerry's got to
This is a
write it down.
message.
It's so good.
Yeah, I like
Just
money.
an empty notebook that says old and horny, question mark.
I like money. So, he looks down. So I just want to make sure that everybody sort of understands it. The warehouse. Imagine that, like, the pillars, like racking in a warehouse, tall, like very, very tall sets of shelves. But then each of those sets of shelves, it's as though the racking itself is the physical support for the room. And so the whole place is basically just aisles and aisles of content bolstered at each end by shelves that have to double as the building's supports. And so he takes the first stair on the left and begins to head down into the guts of it.
We're just following at this point, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Most of us.
Yeah.
Okay, wait a minute. So, like, are we all close enough around one another? Because
In my picture, yeah.
I would cast a Pest Without Trace.
Oh, you want to
And-
skulk?
I'm partly because I don't know if our horse with rider friend will quietly navigate these areas.
Here, can you give me an intuition? Gosh, is that the one?
Mm-mm.
Not intuition.
What,
Insight?
like insight?
Insight. Yeah, just give me
That
insight.
I can do.
Yeah.
I'll just click the number.
All
and
right.
Let's see what happens. Oh, yes. Tabulating 20, but dirty 20.
Okay, 20.
Yeah.
This is the correct place. This is where you can get the answer that you need. The city is not safe. Like, these are all the calculations that are coming down at graduated levels of emotional resonance and sophistication. This is where you need to be. At the same time, you're getting the sense that this is a mousetrap.
Okay. So I still will do Pass Without Trace.
Yeah.
Um,
But you feel just like suspended somewhere. You know that there is a metal structure that is
Right.
poised on a spring.
Does this insight let me think? Because I'll roll another one. But, like, is this is just him not being careful, or this is his plot to bring us down here?
You think that he really is done with his job here.
Mhm.
You think there's a possibility in terms of your overall sort of interpersonal calculus, which is really what that skill is for anyway. you think that it's an opportunity for him to look over everything one last time. You don't get the impression that he's trying to trick you. You get the impression that this place is. You get the impression that this is a. You're not the only person who's ever been in danger here. When you think about as a concentrated place of esoteric, strange wisdom, meshed together in a lattice, you're in a you're in a historic place.
Yeah, I too am playing the wrong character. I don't care. Let's go. Can I put an arrow inside?
So you cast Pass Without Trace on all of us, and do you relay these concerns?
I would, I'll cast it, and I will also say, just to be careful here. We don't know what we will find.
Because I still would not want to break rules and be very anxious this whole time, and saying something like that would tip him even further.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the funny thing still is that the blade is always trying to. It's moved into full on cartoon. It's moved into full on cartoon blade. Yeah, exactly. Like
bouncing behind.
Exactly. It has to go vertical on its pommel to accompany you into these places. And you know that if it tried to protect you, it would destroy untold numbers of vital alchemical documentation.
I do want to cast Find Traps, though, with this new information and concerns that Quiver will relay to us.
I love it.
Yeah. I can sense the presence of any trap within range. Range is 120 feet. The spell merely reveals that the trap is present. I don't learn the location, but I do learn the general nature and the danger posed to you by
each trap. You don't even learn Find Traps doesn't even tell you the location?
It says merely reveals that a trap is present. You don't learn the location, but you do learn the nature of the traps.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Interesting.
And a trap for the purpose of this spell includes anything that would inflict a sudden or unexpected effect on you. Anything considered harmful or undesirable. So even if it's not like deadly, like a wedgie trap. Oh man.
Anything
I don't want
trap,
that.
you're saying.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a fart trap. Gross.
Oh.
What?
No way.
Sudden and unexpected and unpleasant.
I don't like that.
No thanks. Thank you, spell, for the warning.
Yucky.
All right. So he takes you first to where the Sooth was cataloged, and flips through. There's a few documents in this sheath. He's able to pull it off. It's dust free because it's so recently been manipulated.
Do I find any traps?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
And inside there's two sets of documents. One set of documents transfers the Sooth from its original leader to someone new, who apparently only has one name, like a musician. It was transferred first to someone named Viari. And then after Viari, and then once it's been transferred into Viari's name, Viari then closes it. So that's closed out.
I know Viari. Viari is an employee of Acquisitions Incorporated. Why would he own a cult? Especially one that presumably sent those creatures after us. That just doesn't make sense. Acquisitions Incorporated, the very fine, responsible, and compassionate company, would never do something like that.
But what kind of a man is Viari? Perhaps he is not in line with the good work that they do at Acquisitions Incorporated.
Well, I mean, they fully vet all their employees, I'm sure. They would never hire someone who was less than upstanding. I'm positive. I mean, Viari does have a penchant for nudity, but other than that, I think he's a very nice person.
Is that illegal? You know?
Not where I'm from.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Is it impressive? So, he looks at you and then gestures at this name. Like, is this? Do we know? Is that right? Is that? Are we? What? Is it?
So from what you're telling us, these creatures who came from this cult would have come from the cult at a time when Viari owned or led the cult?
Well, he goes down, checks the dates, and he says, we need to check the register for the verifiers also. Because as a shared, I mean, functionally speaking, under the law and purely from a mystical perspective, it was one cult. It used to be sort of governed and guided by the mathematical predictions of the Sooth. Just between you and me, the Sooth were often right, even if they were a little early sometimes, which did create issues from time to time. I won't lie to you. He says, okay, all right. I don't like that. And then he just keeps the documents.
Stuffs them in his pockets.
Yeah, no, just right under his arm. Right under his arm. He says, okay. And then he walks back to the staircase and then goes down one level deeper.
I'm still at the top.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not even.
I'm not even in this room.
I like it, dude. Listen, that kicks so much ass.
Does it? Splitting the party generally considered a bad idea?
It does. Well, there's no way for me to tip the cauldron and change how you look, but I will tip the cauldron, and I will maintain the ancient ritual by saying, Josh, if you would be so kind.
Wait. I'll try.
Oh, do you guys can you change the lights on your?
Yeah, Chris did it before. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Hold on.
Horrifying.
Whoa.
Lights,
I don't know how to.
a video.
There you go.
10 hours of disco lights. I do it.
Shoot, yeah, we should have queued that stuff up. We need some.
Yeah.
Next time.
Ah, shit.
Next time. So, Yitzbin, behind you, a man dressed in a cleaner, more astute, sharper version of the High Admonisher's raiment. Basically comes in from the front room and stands by you, and he is of medium height. He looks to be about mid-40s, either bald or shaven. A tiny point to the ear. And he, much as the other admonisher, rests his hands on the edge, and he says, "Can I help you with something?"
Hello.
Are you where you shouldn't be?
No. I was told by men in authority that I was allowed to be here, and I am exercising my civil right. I am occupying building as member of town. Public property.
Landlords are rights.
Landlord tenant laws.
He says,
I'm squatting.
Squats.
I start doing squats.
Those centaur squats again.
he laughs, like authentically laughs.
Oh, I laugh.
That gets a hold of him, for sure. And he says, I mean, if you came in here with people and then you didn't follow them.
I don't want to judge. Have you ever had a set of hooves before?
I haven't. Is that something you're recommending?
I think it is useful and has many practical applications for noise making and running fast on cobblestones. But in this situation, and I gesture grandly toward the multiple sets of stairs before me, in this situation, I find myself somewhat at a loss. I have not bonded well with my group enough that one of them would stay here and hang out with me. So I wait. We all wait. We all are waiting for something, are we not?
He says, it's the reason I mention it is because what I'm about to do would have been much more difficult if they were here. All right. We move back down to the rest of the group.
I don't like it.
He takes you to the next. He takes you to the next section, and it's like there appears to be. He knows it maybe because he spent time as the High Admonisher, but it doesn't appear to be arranged like in a purely alphabetical way. There's some combination of mystic discipline. It's like if astrology and bookkeeping had a torrid affair. So the next, the next one says, there's a transfer of material ownership made on the verifiers to someone named Jim Dark Magic.
Oh,
Okay.
that's that guy Dietzman's always talking about.
Yeah.
Where is she? She'd love this.
Quiver is,
Oh, well.
is taking a moment to consider how well Pass Without Trace fits Yitzbin. And she's just incredible at it. I can clearly see the other members of the party without a lot of difficulty, but Yitzbin is amazing at it.
No trace.
Centaur.
Yeah,
no
exactly.
trace at all.
You would think, and and it's almost a point of personal pride at a certain point. Like that one works.
Yeah, there's a pride. It was like somehow and she's doing it. I could learn. I'm gonna ask after how she pulled this off.
And the there is a second transfer. It looks to something like it's almost like bureaucratic juggling. It goes through a sequence of other names. The last of the names that it's transferred to is just a symbol. It's a circle.
Prince.
With basically an I superimposed on it.
The letter I.
Yeah, the letter I superimposed
A serifed letter I
in the middle.
perhaps?
Yeah.
It's
So-
a curious figure.
Evelyn is trying, bureaucracy is not Evelyn's thing. It's very difficult for her to follow all of this stuff. So before, when she was like, so you're saying that Viari sent these things, and then the guy just did not answer her at all. Yeah. She's still kind of trying to understand. So she's like, so Jim Dark Magic owned those light post creatures, and now the Circle Eye owns them?
Question: would Evelyn recognize this circle and
I
eye?
guarantee you that she would.
Okay.
That the Circle Eye, the last of these symbols, is Omendron's house symbol,
Oh.
which you have seen on correspondence.
Yeah. And now Omen owns those light post creatures?
That's, I mean, you can see it plain as day.
Well, certainly then there must be something wrong. They must be faulty because he certainly wouldn't, unless, do you think I offended him with my letter? It might be my fault. Oh no.
The High Admonisher says, or at any rate, the Post Admonisher says, probably.
Oh no. I ruined everything. Okay, well, I guess I should write him another letter, or someone else should, if he's mad at me.
Yeah, last one almost got us killed.
Yeah, sorry.
It should come from you, but use a different perfume, perhaps.
Oh.
What if we all write letters?
That's a great idea. We can put them together in a little packet.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so I guess the point of the letters would be Evelyn's very sorry. Please don't kill us because of Evelyn. Why did you use light posts instead of sending a letter? Please don't kill us.
Well, we can workshop this back home.
Okay.
No need to do it here, I guess, right?
Down here. We can get some stationery or.
I mean, yeah. We'll workshop it on the walk back.
Okay.
We will use Lathander. This is how we will do it.
Lathander
It's
Jr.
like Little Lathan. Oh wait, no, it's not its name. That's not what it's called.
Lathander Jr. Blessed is his name.
This is time saver.
Yeah, exactly. Now, there are that is all the sheaves, and then he his face becomes it cinches up high here.
Ah.
The extraneous skin gathered together in a tight knot.
Yeah.
And he goes just to the left, and you can tell the mouth is closed, but his nose is gauging the amount of breath that's coming in and out, and production levels are high. And he chooses a cult at random and finds a transfer document into the name of Omendron.
Oh, really?
Correct.
Oh, you mean all the cults belong to Omendron?
Yeah, all your base.
all your base are belong to Omendron.
So he sets that stack down, checks another one, and sees that it too has gone in a certain direction, and places it back.
Direction.
Yeah, places it back, and he says, "I'm comfortable leaving these here. I think I know what they say at the end."
Evelyn, what is you have more experience here than we do. What is the scope of the acquisitions in Acquisitions Incorporated?
Well, I can't say I've ever really been part of any of the acquisitions. But I know I know that Omen is a very devout cleric, and if he's acquiring cults, it's probably because they are hedonistic and should be shut down. So it's probably just him trying to you know,
I like they're hedonistic. It's like now there's something weird about him, and they make him uncomfortable for some reason.
Oh, yuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ugh.
yuck.
These cults got to be gross in some way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They're contrary to productive religious participation.
Right. It's like they only want to be able to serve wine to minors or something. This licensing shouldn't have been done. It's time to pull these back. And
I'm not
reveal.
saying, they're evil or anything.
But they're all still
Far be it from
operating.
me.
We walked past all of them coming down here.
Oh, that's true.
He didn't shut them down. He just owns them now.
Well, maybe he's changing their ways.
Oh, yeah.
When did these change hands? Like how long ago?
This is if you can go through and check the dates proper. This has happened in the last 2 days.
Oh wow!
Like it is basically an unprecedented, very dense, metaphysical, hostile takeover.
Evelyn is like usually very composed, but you can tell she's very just like frustrated because she's like, why wouldn't Omen reply to my letters? Why wouldn't he tell me what's going on?
Give me a perception roll, Evelyn, and you know as well as I do that it could never be easier than it is now. We're truly living in the golden age.
It was so easy just now with D&D Beyond to roll this natural one.
Perfect.
Never been easier.
So easy.
Perfect.
Click of a button.
So you reach deep in the just overwhelmed by evidence. You reach deep to try to find something about the signature that's wrong, something to indicate that it has been forged, and you don't find it. You think that in the sunlight you could just place them over each other.
Well, I don't know why Omen's not responding to my letters. I don't know why he's acquiring cults. There must be a great explanation, but I don't know how to find it. What do you guys think we should do?
Well, I think if he's not answering your letters, and he normally does, and he's taking over cults, which he doesn't normally do, and he's an important person, and all important people have assistants, and assistants do all the signing for them. I would never sign something myself. I would have my assistant do it. So I think imposter. No way. No way that this guy that you so clearly have, a crush on or whatever it is.
Prism, that you would enable her in this.
Mm-hmm.
Everything Evelyn has told her has been like pretty much right.
No. Everything you're doing is amazing. I just love it.
Yeah.
No sense of Evelyn's delusion.
Speaking of assistants, we do have access to certainty. We could ask someone close to Omen what all this is about, right?
How do we call up certainty?
We had this problem before. We didn't know how.
Yeah, she comes and goes. We can't call her, right?
Yeah, that name's not really fitting. You should call her uncertainty.
Yeah. Lysander Jr.'s forsaken us.
In our time of need. Hey, has anybody seen Yitzbin?
I thought she was with you.
No, you were watching her. It was Yitzbin.
Your interlocutor, Yitzbin, rests a two-handed maul heavily against the banister and says, I guess we should just get it over with. Shadow Council, may our labors please you. Thanks so much for rolling in for another action-packed, deeply romantic episode of the C Team. Of course, next week we will return to the original C Team to see how things have been going for them.
Yeah.
In these dark times. But of course, right now we're going to have a brief pause for refreshments. Horsdovers.
What'd you call me?
Excuse me?
And then we're going to rock a little bit of that table talk. Don't go anywhere.